First contact. Admiral Sarah Chen stood at attention before the United Nations Security Council, her decorated uniform a stark contrast to the modern glass and steel chamber. The holographic display behind her showed what every news network worldwide was broadcasting, the massive alien vessel hovering above New York City. "Ladies and gentlemen," she began, her voice steady despite the unprecedented nature of the situation, "at 0600 hours this morning, our deep space monitoring stations detected an object decelerating from FTL speeds. Within 2 hours, this vessel had positioned itself in Earth's orbit." The chamber erupted in murmurs. Chen waited for them to subside before continuing, "At 0900, we received our first transmission. They call themselves the Galactic Council Envoy, representing what appears to be a confederation of spacefaring species." The UN Secretary-General leaned forward. "And their intentions, Admiral?" "They claim to come in peace," Chen replied, though her expression remained guarded. "They've requested a formal meeting with Earth's leadership to discuss our potential membership in their council. However..." She paused, choosing her words carefully. "Their preliminary scans of our planet and our communications have led them to some interesting conclusions about humanity." The Chinese representative spoke up, "What kind of conclusions?" Chen activated another holographic display, showing intercepted communications from the alien vessel. "They believe we're a peaceful species, perhaps even pacifistic. Their initial assessment suggests they view us as..." Her jaw tightened slightly, "primitive and weak." The Russian delegate scoffed. "Peaceful? Have they not studied our history?" "That's just it," Chen responded. "They have, but they've misinterpreted what they've seen. Our emphasis on international cooperation, our United Nations, our various peace treaties, they've taken these as signs of fear rather than progress. They see our reluctance to wage war as weakness rather than wisdom." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. It was the British representative who finally spoke, "Should we correct this misconception?" Chen's expression remained neutral, but there was a glint in her eye. "With all due respect, I suggest we don't. At least not immediately. This misconception could work to our advantage." The Secretary-General raised an eyebrow. "How so?" "The envoy has already revealed that they're facing a significant threat, an expansionist empire called the Zarn. They're hoping to recruit us into their coalition against this threat, albeit as junior partners. If they believe we're harmless, they'll be more likely to share information and technology with us, thinking we need their protection." The American representative leaned forward. "And if this Zarn Empire decides to test us?" Chen's lips curved into a slight smile. "Then they'll learn what every adversary throughout human history has discovered: appearances can be deceiving. I've already spoken with the Joint Chiefs. The Marines are ready, as always." The Secretary-General nodded slowly. "Very well. We'll maintain this diplomatic ambiguity. But we should prepare for all contingencies." "Admiral, what do you need?" "Permission to activate Protocol Thunderbolt," Chen replied without hesitation. "We need to get our best Marines into position, quietly. If these aliens want to see humanity's peaceful face, we'll show them that. But if they, or anyone else, mistake our preference for peace as an inability to wage war..." She let the statement hang in the air. The Security Council members exchanged glances before the Secretary-General spoke again. "Protocol Thunderbolt is authorized. Choose your team carefully, Admiral. The fate of Earth may depend on it." As Chen left the chamber, her comm unit buzzed. It was a message from General Santos at Quantico: "The 1st Marine Special Operations Battalion is ready. Just say the word." Chen smiled. The Galactic Council was about to learn a valuable lesson about humanity. They weren't peaceful because they feared war, they were peaceful because they were so damn good at war that they knew its true cost. The next morning, as Chen watched the alien envoy's shuttle descend toward the designated landing zone in Central Park, she couldn't help but think about the Marines quietly taking up positions around the globe. The aliens would see Earth's diplomats, scientists, and civilians, all eager for peaceful cooperation. They wouldn't see the warriors waiting in the shadows, ready to defend their home if needed. The shuttle landed with surprising grace for its size, its iridescent hull reflecting the morning sun. As the diplomatic team stepped forward to greet Earth's visitors, Chen received another message: MARSOC teams in position. Semper Fi. The game was about to begin, and humanity was playing with cards the Galactic Council didn't even know they had. Meanwhile, aboard the Galactic Council vessel, High Commissioner Vex Thor reviewed the latest reports from their planetary scans. The humans' response to their arrival had been remarkably measured: no panic, no military posturing, just calm diplomatic overtures. Most impressive, they chittered to their aid, a serpentine being named SSSville. Their social order remained intact despite our arrival. Perhaps they are more psychologically advanced than we initially assessed. SSSville's tongue flicked thoughtfully. Or perhaps they truly are as docile as our preliminary reports suggested. Their military response has been minimal. No fleet movements, no weapon systems activated. Even their orbital defenses remain powered down. Indeed, Vex Thor agreed, though something nagged at the back of their mind. Have we completed the deep scan of their military installations? Partial data only, SSSville replied. Their largest facilities are easily monitored, but we're having trouble getting clear readings from several locations. Particularly something called Camp Lejeune and another facility designated as 29 Palms. Interference? Unknown. But our sensors detect unusual energy signatures from these locations. Nothing matching known weapon signatures, but complex. Vex Thor's antenna twitched. Make a note to investigate further. For now, let us focus on the diplomatic mission. The Council was clear: humanity must be brought into the fold before the Zarn Empire expands into this sector. As they prepared to board the shuttle, Vex Thor took one last look at the blue planet below. Something about these humans didn't quite add up, but they couldn't put their finger on what. Still, how dangerous could a species be when they put so much emphasis on peace? They were about to find out. Hidden strength. Master Gunnery Sergeant Rodriguez moved silently through the underground facility beneath Camp Pendleton, his footsteps barely audible despite his impressive frame. The facility, designated Deep Echo, had been built in secret over the past decade, a contingency for exactly this kind of situation. Status report, he commanded, entering the command center where dozens of Marines worked at holographic displays, monitoring alien communications and movements. Lieutenant Emma Hayes, their tech specialist, looked up from her station. The Council's envoys are still focused on the diplomatic summit in New York. But we've detected increased scanning activity around our major military installations. They're getting curious, Gunny. Rodriguez nodded. Let them look. The surface facilities are just for show anyway. He turned to another screen showing live feeds from similar underground bases across the globe. How's the new tech integration coming along? Better than expected, Hayes replied, pulling up a diagnostic display. The reverse-engineered shield technology we got from analyzing their ship's emissions. We've successfully miniaturized it. The prototype combat suits are ready for testing. Before Rodriguez could respond, Admiral Chen's face appeared on the main screen. Master Guns, we have a situation. The Zarn Empire just made their first move, earlier than expected. They've attacked a Galactic Council outpost in the Proxima Centauri system. Rodriguez straightened. How long until they reach Earth? That's the thing, Chen replied, her expression grim. Their attack was meant to draw Council forces away from Earth. We've intercepted communications suggesting they already have advance units in our solar system. The Council doesn't know it yet, but we detected Zarn signatures near Mars. They're testing our defenses, Rodriguez concluded. Using our system as a staging ground, thinking we're too primitive to notice. Exactly. The Council's diplomatic team is still trying to ease us into galactic politics, Chen said with a hint of irony. They don't think we're ready for this information. But now we have a choice to make, maintain our cover, or show our hand. Rodriguez shared a look with Hayes. Ma'am, request permission to execute Operation Ghost Runner. Chen raised an eyebrow. The high-risk option. You sure about this? The Zarn think they're being clever, sneaking around our backyard while the Council keeps us distracted with diplomatic niceties. I say we give them a proper Marine Corps welcome. After a moment's consideration, Chen nodded. Permission granted. But Rodriguez? Make it clean. We still need the Council to underestimate us a little longer. Understood, ma'am. We'll make it look like luck. As the transmission ended, Rodriguez turned to Hayes. Get first recon suited up. We're going hunting on Mars. Within hours, 3 stealth dropships departed Earth's atmosphere, using the planetary alignment to mask their signatures. The Marines aboard wore the prototype combat suits, a perfect blend of human ingenuity and reverse-engineered alien tech. The Zarn scouts never saw them coming. The first indication something was wrong came when the Zarn command ship lost contact with 2 of their forward observation posts on Mars' surface. By the time they realized they were under attack, Rodriguez's teams had already eliminated half their forces. The Marines moved like ghosts across the Martian landscape, their suits' adaptive camouflage making them nearly invisible. Years of training in Earth's harshest environments had prepared them for this, the low gravity just made them more lethal. Target acquired, Hayes' voice crackled through the comm. She was coordinating the operation from orbit. Zarn command ship is attempting emergency takeoff from Valles Marineris. Rodriguez checked his team's positions on his HUD. Not today, they're not. All units, execute pattern Sierra. Let's show them why you don't mess with Marines. What followed was a masterclass in small unit tactics. The Marines didn't just defeat the Zarn forces, they did it with such precision and efficiency that it looked almost accidental. Every engagement was carefully staged to appear as though the Marines had simply gotten lucky, stumbling upon the aliens and reacting with desperate but effective violence. When the Council's warships finally arrived to investigate the Zarn incursion, they found only debris and empty outposts. The few Zarn survivors babbled about shadows that moved like warriors and weapons that shouldn't exist in the hands of a primitive species. Back on Earth, the Council's diplomatic team was perplexed by the report. Impossible, Vextor declared during an emergency meeting with Earth's representatives. The Zarn are among the most advanced military forces in the galaxy. How could they be defeated by luck? Admiral Chen suggested innocently. We humans have a saying, fortune favors the bold. Vextor's antenna twitched in agitation. Perhaps we should accelerate our technology sharing program. For your protection, of course. That's very kind of you, Chen replied, hiding her smile. We gratefully accept any assistance you're willing to provide. Later that night, in the secure depths of Deep Echo, Rodriguez reviewed the after-action reports with his team. Good work out there, Marines. The Council bought it hook, line, and sinker. Think the Zarn will try again? Hayes asked, analyzing data from their combat suits test run. Rodriguez's expression hardened. Count on it. But next time, they'll come in force. And next time. He looked at the holomap showing dozens of new underground facilities under construction across Earth. Next time, we'll be even more ready. The real question wasn't whether humanity could fight. The question was, how long could they keep pretending they couldn't? As if in answer, alarms began blaring throughout the facility. Hayes rushed to her station, her eyes widening at the data streaming across her screen. Multiple hyperspace signatures detected. The Zarn, they're not waiting. A full battle fleet just appeared beyond lunar orbit. Rodriguez checked his weapon, a ghost of a smile playing across his face. Well then, Looks like the gloves come off sooner than expected. Alert all MARSOC units. It's time to show the galaxy what the core can really do. The game of deception was about to end. The real war was about to begin. Escalation. The Zarn battle fleet darkened Earth's skies, their ships forming an ominous constellation above every major city. Admiral Chen watched from Deep Echo's command center as the alien armada deployed into attack formation. They're broadcasting on all frequencies, Hayes reported, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. They're demanding our immediate surrender. The Galactic Council's representatives were in panic mode. Vexthor's image flickered on the main screen, their chitinous face contorted with concern. You must evacuate your leadership immediately. We're mobilizing our fleet, but they're several hours away. Your planet cannot possibly. Thank you for your concern, High Commissioner, Chen interrupted calmly. But we have this under control. Control. Your species has no space combat capability. The Zarn will. Chen cut the transmission. Launch Operation Ragnarok. Deep beneath the oceans, in underground bunkers, and from hidden mountain bases, humanity's real military might emerged. The primitive, orbital platforms suddenly powered up, revealing themselves as advanced weapon systems. Massive hangar doors opened in the Antarctic ice and Arizona desert, releasing swarms of fighters that humanity shouldn't have possessed. But the real surprise came from the Marines. The 1st MARSOC Battalion, led by Rodriguez, spearheaded the counterattack. Their dropships, cloaked with reverse-engineered technology, slipped through the Zarn fleet's defenses. Each Marine wore next-generation combat suits that made them nearly invisible to sensors. Remember your training, Rodriguez broadcast to his teams. Hit their command and control first. Just like we practiced. The Marines struck with surgical precision. Teams infiltrated Zarn capital ships through maintenance airlocks and auxiliary docking ports. Their weapons, hybrid designs combining human innovation with stolen alien tech, proved devastatingly effective against Zarn armor. In the void between planets, the space battle unfolded like a deadly dance. The Zarn discovered too late that humanity's apparent lack of space combat capability had been an elaborate deception. The orbital defense platforms unleashed electromagnetic pulses that disabled entire squadrons of enemy ships. Earth's primitive fighters demonstrated maneuvers that should have been impossible for their level of technology. Hayes coordinated the cyber warfare aspect from Deep Echo, her team launching viruses that turned Zarn ship systems against each other. Their neural networks are adapting, she reported. But not fast enough. We've got them locked out of 30% of their fleet's core systems. The Zarn commander, visible on intercepted transmissions, couldn't hide their shock. Impossible. Their technology, their tactics, this cannot be a primitive species. Chen allowed herself a small smile as she watched the battle unfold. The Marines had breached the Zarn flagship's bridge, Rodriguez himself leading the assault. The alien commander faced him with a mixture of fear and confusion. How, the Zarn leader demanded. Your species showed no signs of these capabilities. Rodriguez checked the charges his team was planting around the bridge. Ever hear of the art of war? Appear weak when you are strong. Old human wisdom. The Zarn fleet's formation began to break. What they had expected to be an easy conquest had turned into a nightmare. Their ships were being disabled or destroyed by weapons they couldn't detect, their crews neutralized by warriors they couldn't track, and their systems corrupted by code they couldn't counter. But Chen knew they couldn't reveal everything yet. Some of humanity's most advanced weapons remained hidden, saved for when they would be needed most. The Zarn were formidable, but they weren't the only threat in the galaxy. As the battle reached its climax, the Galactic Council's fleet finally arrived, only to find the Zarn armada in ruins. Vexthor's flagship transmitted immediately to Earth. By the eternal stars, the High Commissioner breathed, taking in the devastation. How did you? As we said, Chen replied smoothly, we had it under control. Though we certainly appreciate the Council's prompt response to our situation. The aftermath brought more questions than answers. The Council's analysts couldn't explain how humanity had developed such advanced technology in secret. The Zarn couldn't understand how their intelligence had failed so completely. But in secure facilities across Earth, humanity's leaders knew this was just the beginning. The Marines had performed brilliantly, but they had revealed only a fraction of their true capabilities. New weapons were being developed, more facilities constructed, and more warriors trained. Because somewhere out there, the main Zarn fleet was preparing for round 2. And this time, they wouldn't underestimate humanity. Rodriguez stood in Deep Echo's briefing room, addressing his Marines. They'll be back, and they'll be ready for what they saw today. But they still don't know what we're really capable of. Hayes pulled up new schematics, designs for weapons and defenses that would make what they'd shown look primitive by comparison. The quantum cannon prototypes are ready for testing, and the phase shift armor is in final production. Good, Rodriguez nodded. Because next time, we're not just defending Earth. Next time, we're taking the fight to them. In orbit, the Council's ships maintained a defensive formation, their crews still processing what they had witnessed. Humanity had changed the game, but the galaxy had yet to see their full hand. The real war was just beginning. Counterattack. The Zarn homeworld hung like a dark jewel in space, its crystalline cities gleaming under 3 moons. In high orbit, their defense fleet maintained constant vigilance, still reeling from the shocking defeat at Earth. None of them noticed the small distortions in spacetime that heralded the arrival of MARSOC's advanced teams. Quantum insertion complete, Hayes whispered through the neural comm she was operating from the USS Horizon, humanity's first stealth carrier, hidden in the shadow of the system's asteroid belt. You're clear to proceed, Gunny. Rodriguez led his team through the ghost-like state of quantum phasing, a technology that even the Council hadn't mastered. Their new Wraith-class combat suits allowed them to exist partially out of phase with normal spacetime, making them truly invisible. Control, we have eyes on the primary target, Rodriguez reported. Below them sprawled the Zarn's main military complex, a fortress they believed impregnable. Beginning Phase 1. The Marines moved like specters through Zarn defenses. Their mission, sabotage the Empire's new superweapon before it could be deployed against Earth. Intelligence suggested the Zarn had developed a graviton cannon capable of collapsing planetary cores. Admiral Chen monitored the operation from the Horizon's bridge. Status of the main fleet. The Zarn still think we're gathering forces at Proxima Centauri, her tactical officer reported. The Council's intelligence network is feeding them exactly what we want them to see. The deception was elaborate. While the Zarn watched the decoy fleet, Earth's real strike force waited in quantum storage, ready to materialize at a moment's notice. The Marines would open the way. Inside the fortress, Rodriguez's team reached the weapons control center. What they found made them pause. The graviton cannon wasn't just a weapon, it was part of something bigger. Admiral, Rodriguez transmitted, we've got a problem. The cannon is powered by quantum-entangled singularities. They're not just building a weapon. They're trying to tear open space itself. Hayes' voice crackled with concern. The energy readings, they're identical to the theoretical models for artificial wormholes. They're planning to bypass our defenses entirely. Not anymore, Rodriguez growled. He nodded to his demo expert, Sergeant Sarah Martinez. Light it up. Martinez placed quantum charges at critical points in the facility. The explosives existed in multiple quantum states simultaneously. When they detonated, they would collapse all possible timelines into one where the facility was destroyed. But the Zarn had one last surprise. Alarms blared throughout the complex. Multiple quantum signatures detected. Hayes warned. They're using the weapon's power core to accelerate their timeline. A massive portal began to form above the fortress. Through it, they could see the Zarn's main battle fleet, hundreds of ships, all powered by the same reality warping technology. All units, execute emergency protocol Omega, Chen commanded. Now. Across the system, quantum storage pods activated. Earth's real fleet materialized, led by the newest class of warships, the Titan-class dreadnoughts. Each one carried enough firepower to level a continent. The Marines' mission changed from sabotage to assault. As the quantum charges detonated, creating cascading reality failures throughout the fortress, Rodriguez's team fought their way toward the portal controls. "Hayes, I need a bypass on their quantum shielding," Rodriguez called out as his team engaged Zarn elite guards. The aliens had finally developed countermeasures to some of humanity's quantum tech, making the fight more challenging. "Working on it," Hayes replied. Her consciousness interfaced directly with the ship's quantum AI, pushing the boundaries of human-machine integration. "Got it. You have 30 seconds before their systems adapt." Rodriguez reached the control center as the space battle erupted above. Earth's fleet, though outnumbered, demonstrated combat doctrines that the Zarn had never encountered. Ships phased in and out of reality, attacked from multiple timelines simultaneously, and employed weapons that defied conventional physics. The Marines' true purpose was revealed: they weren't just warriors, they were the tip of the spear for humanity's most advanced military technologies. Each squad carried prototype weapons and systems that could reshape the battlefield. Martinez finished rigging the portal controls. "Ready to blow it, Gunny. But we've got company." Zarn's super soldiers burst into the chamber, wearing armor that mimicked some of humanity's quantum tech. The following close-quarters battle was brutal, testing the Marines' training against the Zarn's desperate fury. "Admiral," Rodriguez transmitted between exchanges of fire, "recommend immediate execution of Black Dawn Protocol." There was a pause before Chen's response. "Confirmed, Master Guns. Black Dawn is authorized. Get your people out." As the Marines fought their way back to their extraction point, the true scope of humanity's technological advantage was revealed. The Horizon unleashed a weapon that the humans had prayed they'd never need to use, the timeline collapser. Reality itself seemed to shudder. The portal, the fortress, and a significant portion of the Zarn fleet found themselves caught in a temporal cascade failure. Ships didn't just explode, they ceased to exist across all possible timelines. "Fall back to quantum storage," Rodriguez ordered as spacetime began to unravel around them. "Hayes, get us out of here." The Marines phased out just as reality reset itself. When the quantum dust settled, the Zarn's superweapon was gone, their fleet was in ruins, and humanity had demonstrated a level of military technology that even the Council hadn't known was possible. But victory came with a price. The timeline collapser had revealed one of humanity's greatest secrets. And in the darkness between stars, other powers had been watching. The war wasn't over. It was about to evolve into something far more complex. Evolution. The Galactic Council's emergency session crackled with tension. Representatives from 1,000 worlds gathered to address what many now called the human question. The timeline collapser had changed everything. They possessed this technology all along, Vexthor addressed the assembly, their voice trembling. While we debated their worthiness to join us, they had already surpassed us. Admiral Chen stood calmly before the council, flanked by Rodriguez and Hayes. Behind them, a contingent of Marines stood at parade rest, their quantum phase armor making them appear slightly ethereal. "You're afraid," Chen stated simply. "You think we hid our true capabilities because we planned to conquer you. Didn't you?" The Zarn representatives snarled from their containment field. Their empire had surrendered after the demonstration of the timeline collapser, but their bitterness remained. "No," Rodriguez stepped forward. "We hid because we knew this moment would come. The moment when you'd all realize what humanity really is." Hayes activated a holographic display, showing the true extent of human military advancement. "We're not warriors because we love war. We're warriors because we understand it better than anyone. The display showed human history, not the sanitized version the Council had seen, but the real story. Every conflict, every battle, every hard-learned lesson that had shaped humanity's approach to warfare. For millennia, we fought ourselves, Chen explained. We nearly destroyed our civilization multiple times. But each time, we learned. We evolved. The Marines aren't just soldiers, they're the distillation of every hard lesson humanity ever learned about war. The Council chamber erupted in murmurs as Hayes showed classified footage from Earth's hidden facilities. Quantum technologies that could rewrite local spacetime. Weapons that could erase matter from existence. Defenses that could make entire planets untouchable. But here's what you need to understand, Rodriguez continued. We developed all of this for one purpose, to ensure we'd never need to use it. Chen nodded. The Zarn thought our emphasis on peace was weakness. They weren't entirely wrong, it does come from fear. But not fear of fighting. She paused, letting her words sink in. We fear becoming what we could become. What we almost became, several times in our history. The Marines demonstrated their full capabilities. Reality-shifting combat maneuvers. Quantum-synchronized tactical networks. Weapons that could end wars before they began. We are offering the Council a choice, Chen announced. Continue as you have, watching as species like the Zarn rise and fall in endless cycles of conquest. Or join us in building something new. Hayes brought up another display, plans for a new type of galactic defense force. One that would combine humanity's advanced military technology with the Council's vast knowledge and resources. The Marines will train your forces, Rodriguez explained. Not just in combat, but in restraint. In understanding why we fight, and more importantly, why we choose not to. The Council deliberated for 3 days. When they emerged, the galaxy changed forever. 1 year later, the first class of the new Galactic Marine Corps graduated from training. Species that had once been bitter enemies now stood shoulder to shoulder, wearing quantum phase armor bearing both their planetary insignias and the eagle, globe, and anchor. Rodriguez, now commandant of the combined forces, addressed the graduates. You are inheritors of 2 great traditions. The Council's wisdom in uniting the galaxy, and the Marines' understanding of what it truly means to be a warrior. Chen, promoted to Fleet Admiral of the new Combined Defense Force, watched from orbit as the graduation ceremony concluded. Hayes, heading the new Quantum Warfare Division, stood beside her. Think we made the right choice? Hayes asked. Sharing everything we kept hidden. Chen smiled, watching as ships from 100 worlds performed a synchronized quantum jump in salute. We did what Marines have always done. We adapted. We overcame. And we helped others do the same. In the depths of space, the timeline collapser was officially decommissioned, its core transformed into a power source for terraforming barren worlds. The Zarn, under their new government, joined the Defense Force, their natural tactical brilliance finding a new purpose. The galaxy learned what Earth had discovered millennia ago: true strength isn't in having the most powerful weapons. It's in knowing when not to use them. As Rodriguez watched his new recruits train, incorporating techniques from dozens of alien martial traditions with Marine Corps standards, he remembered something his first drill instructor had told him: a Marine's greatest weapon isn't their rifle, their tech, or even their training. It's their ability to decide and not to use any of them. The Galactic Council had thought humans feared war. They were right, in a way. Humans feared war enough to master it completely. And in doing so, they found a way to make peace more powerful than any weapon. High above Earth, in the quantum-shifted space that housed the new Combined Defense Force headquarters, a simple motto was inscribed in 1,000 languages. Peace through strength. Strength through wisdom. Semper Fidelis. The end.